Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. A very, very hot day up in the 90s, heading for 100. We have Debi Graham-Leard on, and she is the author of The Life She Left Behind. Welcome back, Debi.
Hey, it's good to be out and about.
And I said, yeah, I hope you have the AC in your car. I don't know now what I would do without it.
We used to live without it.
I think my father had it when I was a kid. He might have, but I don't remember it
We
at
just
all.
had rolled down the windows.
Yeah, and he smoked a pipe. If you're in the back seat and you're kind of like prone to, it didn't help me any. He could smoke the pipe, have the window out, have the radio on, and talk at the same time. Great. So, The Life She Left Behind. This is the most recent, right, Debi?
It is.
It is.
It
This
is.
is a cool book because it's about a gal who had a boyfriend back in Boston.
Correct.
And she thought, I would like to break up with him. So she wants to move out to Delaware. And he keeps harassing her. Probably, trying to get her back. Would you call it that way?
Right. It's not really quite that sequence. She breaks up with him, but he doesn't want to break up with her.
Yeah.
So he starts being harassing
Right.
in Boston. She escapes to Delaware thinking he won't find her.
Right.
She's going down there for her 20th high school reunion.
Yep. And then she meets somebody.
And she does, and
Somebody.
that's what this story is what happens while she's down in her home state.
And she has to make her decision between the ex and the new guy.
Right.
Either
And
stay in
the
Delaware.
location, stay in my home state,
Mm-hmm.
go back to Boston, because her mom is also in Delaware still.
Yeah.
They had an awkward relationship over the years, which eventually is resolved by the end of the story. I don't want to give too much away.
No, when did it come out? It's had on
Last year.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you got something else on the back burner?
I do, and I looked at our interview last June
Yeah.
to see what we had talked about, and I did continue, and I'm writing another Gwen Andrews mystery.
Another mystery.
Right, and back last June I told you that I'm thinking to take her out to one of the islands.
Yeah.
I opted to go with Nantucket.
Nantucket. Oh.
Yes, and a friend of mine, Nancy, and I went out there in May
Mhm.
for 3 days so that I could really get a feel for how it's laid
So you
out.
took the boat.
The fast ferry.
Did you go from Hyannis or?
Yes, Hyannis.
What?
It's only Hyannis.
Okay. Hyannis.
1
Yeah.
hour.
I tried that over to Martha's Vineyard.
Ah.
I was not a happy camper.
Oh, okay.
I have an inner ear problem anyway.
Oh.
So it's like they kept saying, well, keep looking at the, what is it called, the horizon?
Mhm.
And I feel like saying, are you nuts? If I keep looking at that, it gets worse.
Oh.
But it was fun once I got there.
Were you on the fast ferry or the slow
I don't know
boat?
if it was a fast ferry or not, that the person that I was with bothered him any, but to me it wasn't fast enough.
Oh.
I wanted to get the heck off of that damn thing.
Oh, jeez.
But it's nice out there.
Oh,
One of our mystery writers who has been here for years with us, he lives in Hopedale, and he has a summer cottage there in Martha's Vineyard. And he goes there every summer, and then they have at night, a lantern party through all the cottages. And so he puts his books out there, and he does pretty well. The gentleman's in his 80s, and he's going strong. He's on a cruise right now.
good for him.
Yeah. Have you ever been to your own high school reunion?
Yes, in fact, I'm going down in October for my 55th. 55th. I cannot believe
They're
it's
tricky
been
because
that long.
Well, I have to say the majority of the people, I didn't even look at their name tag at first. I thought, well, I'm going to try to see if the majority of them, I couldn't tell you unless I looked at their name tag. Once in a while there was a guy, I could tell right off the bat who he was. And if you're lucky, so we walked in, and one of them said, hi, Jan. I'm like, hi to you too. I'm thinking, is that the kind of mug I've got? You can't forget it. But thank God for name tags. Did you have those at yours?
Oh,
too?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And a lot of times you don't need them, but sometimes you need a little extra help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's more easily identifiable people if they haven't changed their hair much. If that's
Yeah.
the same as it was in high school, and a lot of times it is,
Yeah,
they're
I
a lot
had-
easier to
I
identify.
had 2 or 3 different hairdos, very short, long, I don't know, but whatever it is. But then there was this one person, it was at a big hall, and we had dinner, no dancing, which is weird because our generation loves to dance. No dancing, no, there's this tiny little folk band. But my science teacher, biology teacher was there. Makes me wonder, how old was he when he was our teacher? He must have been fresh out of college. And the driver's ed teacher, the elderly man, he was there. I'm like, wow, I guess we got lucky. See if any of your teachers are there when you go.
Yeah, and even like the principal at the time
Yeah,
was at one about 10 years ago. He has passed away now.
yeah. I want to make you wonder. And then they read the list of all your classmates. We were just like, you could see people go like, we're aghast. The ones, a lot of them, I think, drug overdose. I heard about one of the guys, and then something else. Things you never would have thought of knowing them in school.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been very conservative and quiet. Next thing you know, they've gone on a drug binge. Oh.
Well, with our generation, back in the day, a lot of them went off to war.
They were what?
Went off to war
Yeah.
and were killed in the war, or car accidents. There's a whole variety of reasons.
Yeah, I know in college, I was still a freshman or something in college, and they were still sending the guys out to Nam. And I had a huge crush on a guy in college. And that Vietnam hit me when I realized that he could be called.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized, it kind of hit me that way. I didn't really think about it. I remember thinking, oh my God, if they call him, he'll be gone. He won't be here anymore, here at the school. I remember that. Do you remember feeling that way?
Oh, yeah.
You did. Do you think that the reunion that you've been to yours triggered your book?
I don't know. I've been to various reunions over the years. Of course, I'm up to 55 now, so there's been quite a few.
Yeah.
So, I mean, an author will pull on experiences in her own life.
Yeah.
So, I've broken up with a boyfriend. I've been to a reunion. Of course, I've traveled down to Delaware. It's my home state.
Yeah.
So I just pull on all my experiences as those things happened.
You grew up in Delaware.
Yeah.
So are you going back to Delaware for your reunion?
Yeah, in October.
You going to drive?
Yeah,
Alone?
of course. I do it all the time.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
it's about a 7.5, 8-hour drive.
You're going to stay overnight, I hope.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually stay with an old classmate.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yes.
No hotel fee.
No
That's
hotel.
good.
No.
When we drove to West Springfield from Upton, 2 or 3 hour trip, I guess. That was long enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not a good long distance traveler.
Oh,
Short
okay.
distance, but long distance.
Well,
it's
you
like,
know the trick to taking a long
what
car
is it,
trip.
stopping along the way.
No, audiobooks,
I can't read and drive.
books on tape.
Oh, hearing
You're
it?
listening. I do them all. I'm doing one now when I drove up here today.
You like that?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta hold the book, read it, smell it, you name it.
No, audiobooks, and the miles just fly by. You don't even realize.
I usually listen to the Doobies, could be Kiss.
So
Remember
you
Kiss?
listen to music.
Or something like The King and I, the soundtrack from the Broadway show,
Mhm.
New York. There was another one I had too. I was raised around those shows. Dad would take us to these things and all. So we would go, in his den at home, we would make like that was our theater. And the lights would be down, and he would direct the orchestra. And he and I would take the roles and be singing them. I mean, that really stuck with me. It was when times get tough, I think sometimes there's one or two of your parents will teach you something that will carry the rest of your life. Now, you brought some things with you. What have you got?
Oh, well, when I was here before, we started chatting about the cover,
Yeah.
and I told you that this is the cover I had mocked up myself.
Right.
And I wanted it to look different from the Gwen Andrews
Right.
series. But then my publisher said, well, let's not quite do that. I think it needs to be close enough to the Gwen series that they know it's you
Yeah.
that wrote it,
Right.
without being identical. So Gwen's stories are ovals.
Mhm.
So she made this one a kind of a rectangle with weird
Yeah.
corners.
Now, can you get a good shot of the first one, Paul? Hold it up. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Okay, so the one that she chose had your publisher was the wine glasses
Yeah.
and the road.
And the shape.
Yeah,
The shape. And we didn't end up using this image either.
No.
I took that picture at the Borderlands State Park.
At what state park?
Borderlands State Park in Easton.
Yeah.
And she used that. It was an interesting outing to do that. It was a very cloudy day. You
Yeah.
can still see clouds up in the sky there.
Same
we had
fence.
we had to wait for the sun to come out so I would get the shadows from the fence on the ground.
And it's the same fence, though, isn't it? No, is it the same?
No, not at all.
Do you like what your publisher
I
did?
couldn't. Yes, I did.
They're both
And
good.
it made sense that it should sort of look like the Gwen Andrews books without being identical.
Well, you know what? The wine glasses make me think of the celebration of the reunion.
That too. And
I like it.
she actually ends up, and I'll tell you the inspiration for where she ends up staying. Down in Delaware, there is a vineyard over on the Maryland line. And I was there a few years ago with my classmate and her husband. And the husband says, "Oh, this young lady is an author. She's writing stories." And the owner of the vineyard, who was taking us on a little tour, said, "Oh, that's really interesting. Last year, I had an author who stayed in a cabin we have on the property."
Yeah.
And I went, ding, ding, ding. That would be a great place for my character
Yes.
to stay while she was there. So
Oh.
I made the whole thing up. I
That
never
kind-
actually saw the cabin that was on the real vineyard.
I thought you were going to tell me she died.
No.
No, that's good. That is a great idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to be open to things as you're going through your day. And something will hit, and you'll save it for some time in the future when you're writing a story.
This is your third book or second?
That's my number 5.
That's number 5.
Yeah.
When you first came on the program, do you remember the first one? Was it Rattlesnake?
The uninvited guest.
And then Rattlesnake was in there somewhere.
No.
No.
Number 2 was Where There's Smoke, There's Trouble.
Yep.
Number 3, Bed, Breakfast, and Blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
And Wedding Interrupted, number 4.
Yep.
And those were the first 4 Gwen Andrews mysteries, and there's one in each season.
Would you call these cozy mysteries, kind of?
Gwen's are kind of traditional mysteries.
Yeah.
The cozy part of it is that Gwen is just a regular person. She's not a detective, a police detective or an FBI agent. And the story takes place in a small town, which is so easy to do in New England.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the cozy element. But I really like to make them a little bit more than just
Yeah.
the basic story. I like to have a little more emotion.
Yeah, I mean, these are
in
a
it.
little bit more sophisticated. But
Right. So I think of them more as traditional mysteries with cozy elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a beautiful picture of herself on the back here.
Oh, thanks.
That is so pretty. Sometimes
Thank
you look
you.
at the back of the book, and the author, whoever took the picture, didn't look like the author. It didn't look good, because you see him in person here on the show. Boy, they nailed it.
Uh-huh.
It is so pretty. Debbie, how can they get a hold of your book?
All of my books are available on Amazon.com. If you type my name in the search box, it's Debi, Graham-Leard, and up will come the 5 books that I've published. They're available both in a printed book and as an audiobook, an ebook, for the Kindle
For Kindle.
listeners.
I have a friend who loves the Kindle. She's sitting there with, what is that thing, an iPad?
iPad, tablet.
It's going like this. And I'm like, you don't want to actually hold it? Go to the bookstore and hold it? She goes, no.
The thing with the Kindle is you don't get the cover.
Well, you don't get to, it's like it's sort of like a kid in a candy store for me. I go into a bookstore, that's it. I can be there for hours.
I know
You
the
too?
feeling. I know the feeling, yeah.
Will you go, have you been up to Tatnuck over in Westboro?
Where?
Tatnuck?
No, I'm trying to get in touch with them. I'm not sure they're doing any more of their author events.
Oh, yeah. I send a lot of my authors up there.
Really?
I'll send you, I'll try to
Well,
remember
no,
some.
I'm in touch with them. I'm
all right,
waiting.
don't give up, because
I'm
they're
waiting
very
for a
popular.
response.
They're very
Yeah.
popular. Yeah, I love, have you been there?
No.
No, they have a huge presentation room if you choose in the back, or if you want to just have a little table out in the front area near the cash register, you're fine there too.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the more beginning authors like to be right there, kind of near the cash register.
Right.
You're a pro. You could probably go to the back and give a presentation.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would give my author talk about the process of writing a story.
Yeah. Where have you been appearing lately?
Well, it's been very slow. Of course, the pandemic shut everyone down. And I just got back from Florida in May. So everybody in Florida, I did manage to get a few down there, but it's been slow going back up here. But I'm in touch with a lot of different senior centers and retirement communities.
Yeah, definitely.
Book clubs,
Sure.
all sorts of places. But it's kind of like pulling teeth to get them off
Yeah.
not scheduling things. They've gotten so used to that through the pandemic. So I'm making slow progress.
That's good. I mean, a lot of my authors during COVID would say, well, I'm contacting them, but they're saying, obviously, they're not open.
Right.
And I would say, like I told you, get your name. Make them very familiar with you, because
Yes.
it's not going to take long. When they do reopen, you're going to be, oh, yeah, Sally Green, and you're scheduled.
Yeah.
But things, all of the cafe bookstores, libraries, senior centers I know of in New England right now, the ones I know of are open and ready to go.
Right.
So it is, you're so right about senior centers, because an author will say to me, why do you want to send me there? Like I tell them, seniors read.
Oh, definitely.
And they have grandchildren and children. Why not?
And I always also suggest that, if they have mystery lovers in their family, that they need a gift.
Yep. Were your parents mystery lovers at all?
Not so much, but my older sister is a mystery buff.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
Did you know in high school and in school that you were going to be a writer?
I did not.
You had no clue.
No clue. I was always a reader. In fact, when we were kids living down in Delaware, we owned a country road, and we would ride our ponies down to the road to the bookmobile down at the end of the road.
The one that came around?
Once a month, yeah. Yeah.
That is such a cool idea. I
Yeah.
read, what's some book recently? They had it up in the Appalachians?
Oh, they very likely could.
I think that's awesome. Even this library here in Upton, I think once a month they go over to the senior center and just bring in a lot of books, whatever, for people. I think it would be kind of fun. Do you
Yeah.
think it would be
Yeah.
to drive one of those?
It would. It would. In fact, I read a story, listened to a story recently. I couldn't tell you the name of it now. But it was about a young woman in Scotland.
Oh, yes, I've saw Scotland, yes.
And she loses her job at the library, and she
Yeah.
buys an old van and fills it with the books that they're going to throw away,
Yeah.
and travels around to the little villages to
What's
sell
the name of
books.
it?
I can't remember. I wish I had realized we would talk about it. I would have looked it up.
Yeah, it sounds right up my
Yeah.
alley.
Yeah.
I would love that. Did she have any... I know there's a cozy mystery, something like it. It's not exactly, but they always have a dog or a cat with them.
Oh.
Do you have any pets at home?
I did have a cat, but she passed away.
How old was she?
16.
Hmm.
And we actually lost her when we were in Florida a few years ago.
Before you went down there?
No, well, we were down there. She would travel with us.
Did she yow her head off?
No, and I always, the first time we were going to do it, I said, I don't know if I can handle this, because when you put her in the carrier to go to the vet,
Yeah.
that's all meow, meow, meow,
Oh,
meow
yeah.
the whole way back. But we took her out of the carrier.
Yeah.
She had the run of the Santa Fe, and she didn't make a beat.
I wish I could say the same for our tomcat.
Oh,
Oh, man, he looks like a baby leopard. I mean, honest to God,
Huge.
Debbie, he's like... Well, he's got to be all 25 pounds.
Mm.
He's huge, and he always wants to eat.
Ah,
He sits there, come to my side of the table, and he'll sit there and just stare at me, like he's trying to hypnotize me. The girl is, but she doesn't get all cry and weepy in the cast thing, but he goes bananas. They have personalities.
oh, they
They
do.
really, really do.
They
Now,
do.
you just got back from Florida. Do you go down there during the cold months at all?
Oh, yes, yes. We go down in December and come back again when it starts getting warm.
The snowbirds, right?
Yes,
I know my
snowbirds.
aunt had a place first in Boca, then she moved to a condo in Del Rey.
Mhm.
Do you go to any of
No,
them?
those are on the East Coast. I'm on the Gulf Coast.
You're on the other side,
West
the West
side.
Coast.
West Coast.
Is the water, this is a corny question, but is the water more swimmable and warmer on one coast than the other?
I don't know about warmer depending on the time of year, but it's not as active on the Gulf. Doesn't have that ocean, that Atlantic Ocean activity
Yeah.
for the big waves. It's a little calmer.
I know my father drove us down to, I think I was 6, Fort Lauderdale.
Oh yeah.
Boy, 3 days he took us. The grown-ups would take turns in the station wagon, taking turns driving, and then people would sleep in the back.
Oh.
It was not fun. It was Christmas time. I'm 6 years old. We have this cottage with a struggling little Christmas tree. I don't remember much about it except that.
Oh.
Yeah, I was 6. It's a long haul.
Yeah, we take 3 days to go down,
Yeah.
and we stop 2 nights in hotels.
Okay, but you stay in a hotel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what got into Dad. Staying in the car. We'd stayed in motels at other times. We've gone different places, but for some reason, we're going to do it this way. I don't remember a whole lot about it other than it just was not fun.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't be. And, you know, Christmas in Florida is just weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It had to have been, is that the least expensive time to go to places in the winter? I don't know.
No, that's their hot season because everybody wants to get away from the cold.
Yeah.
They go down there.
What are those skiers? The ladies who ski in Fort Lauderdale, is it? They ski in the water?
Oh, the
Not Rockets.
Wiki-Wachi. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I remember that.
Yeah. I don't know if they exist anymore.
Yeah.
That might be
It
gone.
was a water skier bunch.
Yeah.
And I think the grown-ups got a really good time. Obviously, I don't think I did because I would remember it vividly. So we've been talking with Debi-Leard Graham, and Debi is the author of The Life She Left Behind. Woman who went to her, had broken up with her boyfriend in Boston. And so she decided to go to Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
She went to her class reunion there and met a guy she liked. And this is the story of what she did about this. I mean, do I go back to the Boston area and go back to my ex? Or, right, do I stay with my new boyfriend? And 'tis a mystery. 'Tis a mystery. Again, how do they get a hold of your book, Debbie?
All of my books are available on Amazon.com. Just type my name, Debi Graham-Leard, into the search bar, and up will come all 5 of my stories. They're available both in a hardcover book, not a hardcover book, a softcover book, or an ebook for those of you with a Kindle.
There you are. Deb, what else have you got with? She is so organized. Look at this.
Well, I did bring,
Yeah.
this to explain the cover. And this is the one I'm working on now. This is my next Gwen story.
Regrets only.
Regrets only. And this will just show you the kind of how the cover evolves. This is what I thought I would do first because the story takes place at a Halloween party out on Nantucket.
Yeah.
So I have Gwen and her sister go out there for the Halloween party. So I thought at first I would do some kind of a Halloween theme, but then as I got into the mystery,
Yeah.
I decided when I was out there with my friend, I took a picture of this run of steps that goes down to the beach, which is very involved with the death and the mystery that takes place.
I like this.
In this
You know what
story.
your publisher did with this?
Mhm.
If it were me, I'd keep that because that says Nantucket. That's okay. What I would do is I would add maybe a little pumpkin or a little tiny little witch kind of floating by it to make it give it that.
Yeah, and Stephanie, my publisher, will come up with something to connect it.
Yeah, definitely. But don't stray from the beach scene
No.
because your book will be mainly about taking place in Nantucket,
About Nantucket, right, exactly.
This is going to be another good one.
I think so.
When's it
I
going to be
think so.
done?
I'm having some trouble with this one because in the other 4 Gwen Andrews mysteries, they took place in a fictional town of Harbor Falls,
Yeah.
which was a fictional version of Norton, Massachusetts, my town up here. This is Nantucket. This is a real place.
Yeah.
So I need to be very, very careful. That's why Nancy and I went out there for 3 days.
Yeah.
To go around the island. We went to Sconset and the Bluff Walk.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful interview with one of the police detectives I had a list of questions for him.
Yeah.
Because I've got my experts here on the mainland, but I didn't know if they did things differently out on the island.
Yeah. So you must have met a lot of cool people. Did you tell them? Did you ever let on? I'm writing a book about
Oh,
them?
no, they knew.
They knew.
They knew. And the detective I talked to, that they arranged for me to speak with, his wife is an author. She had written YA stories.
Oh, like sort of a cozy mystery writer?
No, no YA.
Okay.
Inspirational, I guess you'd say. But so he was aware of what an author goes through
Yeah.
to put a story
And he's a detective.
on
He
the
could
page.
give you some hints, maybe?
Yeah. I had a whole list of questions. If this happened, what would you do? How would you handle it?
That is great.
And this whole list.
Debi Leard Graham. I'm gonna have
Debi
to
Graham-Leard.
Get Leard, yes. And this is the next one. This is the one we're talking about today, The Life She Left Behind. You folks are into reunions, like I went to two of mine. It's a really good book. And then she's got next one coming up. What's it called again?
It's called Regrets
Regrets Only, and it's going to be taking place on Nantucket. And there'll be a Halloween time, right?
Right, Halloween party.
A mystery. And she even talked with a detective out there in Nantucket, kind of picked his brains about, which is excellent. The more information you get, the better. You know.
Exactly. It's details. You
Yeah.
have to have the details.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to let me know as soon as it's done, right?
I will.
Are we
I
going?
will.
You're going to be leaving a copy of The Life She Left Behind down in the
Well, I was going to take that copy down, unless you want to do it.
after. Well, I want to finish the very end.
Oh,
of it,
sure.
Okay. So, but I'll bring it down to when I'm
Okay.
done.
Very
Sure.
good.
Copy,
Very
pick
good.
up a copy down in the Upton Library.
Yep.
So we're hoping to see Debbie again. She's got this. And again, when do you think it might be done?
I don't know. I'm not even halfway through.
Maybe by
But
Christmas.
I am picking up speed
Yeah.
as
Actual
I go.
reunion. I don't know. Do what you want, but I would think bring a bunch of your books.
Oh, I will. Definitely.
Oh, if somebody at we had a huge class, 200 of my kids, but I would definitely, if you were in my reunion, I would say bring a bunch of them. Really.
Yeah, because that takes place in Delaware, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
where I will be.
And the reunion, oh yeah, you shouldn't have any problem at all with these. This is gonna
And
be
you know, the danger of this, and it's with every story that an author writes,
Yeah.
is you be careful that you don't actually base a character on a real person.
Yes.
Careful with your names. Don't use the names of anybody in your high school class.
How many were in your class?
We had about 150. It was a smaller class.
We were the first ones that, we were too many of us, over 200, I don't know, but we had to go to the Springfield Coliseum.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have to end. I'm getting the word.
You're getting the
And
wave.
signal. We'll see you next time. Thank you for being with us again.
Okay, thank you for having me again.
You're welcome, and we'll see you next time. I'll be my guest. Stay
Okay,
cool.
Jan.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.